Okay. So, wir nehmen jetzt die Perspektive und richten sie gegen Osten. Nicht zum Nahen oder Mittleren Osten, dort ist der Fokus ja sowieso schon rund um die Uhr gesetzt, du hast es gesagt, Rob. Nachrichten hören, Nachrichten schauen macht uns nicht glücklich, ist auch nicht gesund. Ich weiß, von was ich rede hier. Wir schauen nach Südostasien, also weiter als dort, wo halt das meiste medienmäßig jetzt berichtet wird, in eine Großregion, die viel Potenzial hat, auch wirtschaftliches Potenzial, die aber zumindest aus unserer Sicht wahrscheinlich wirklich auch unterschätzt wird. Wir fragen uns, was sind dann die Chancen für Südostasien? Also was sind die realen Hürden, die dort sicher auch vorhanden sind? Was sind vielversprechende Wege, um in diese Märkte zu kommen? Wo öffnen sich für Schweizer Unternehmerinnen und Unternehmen auch Perspektiven und vor allem auch Möglichkeiten? Und welche Branchen sind in Südostasien auch für Kooperationen, zum Beispiel eben mit Schweizer Unternehmerinnen und Unternehmen offen? Also was müssten wir dann verstehen, bevor wir dann wirklich eben auch in Kooperationen treten? Also wir reden jetzt einerseits von Taiwan und andererseits von den Philippinen und versuchen in einem Gespräch, das ich gleich führen werde, mit zwei Experten auch diese Möglichkeiten für Geschäfte, erfolgreiche Geschäfte auszuloten. Ich begrüße auf der Bühne, and now I'm changing to English, Dr. Steve S.W. Wang. Please. A warm welcome.
Thank you.
Take your seat. Ich sage es jetzt noch kurz auf Deutsch und übrigens können wir nochmal den QR-Code sehen, vielleicht kann man den nochmal einblenden. Genau, da ist er, also für jene, die, weil wir jetzt dann Englisch reden, das eher auf Deutsch hören möchten. Also darum sage ich es jetzt nochmal auf Deutsch. Steve verbindet politische Analyse, internationale Erfahrung und wissenschaftliche Tiefe. Als Politikwissenschaftler, früherer Professor und heutiger Vertreter der Delegation Culturelle Économique de Taipei, also von Taiwan, hat er natürlich sehr viel Erfahrung, kann uns sicher einiges auch ganz Konkretes über Taiwan und die Möglichkeiten, um mit Taiwan Geschäfte zu führen, kann er uns darüber berichten. Er bringt also einen Blick auf die Weltpolitik mit Substanz, aber auch mit Praxis vereint. Nun begrüße ich Raymond Albert Batak. Warm welcome to Raymond. Please take a seat.
Thank you.
How are you? Raymond als Commercial Counselor ist er bei der philippinischen Mission an der WTO in Genf und hatte schon Stationen in Washington, Brüssel und Manila. Er sieht ist dafür eine Perspektive, die wirklich global, aber auch konkret und wirtschaftlich ist. Unser Thema ist also Südostasien und die unterschätzten Möglichkeiten, um Kooperationen aus der Schweiz mit dieser Region zu machen. So, I'm taking my seat as well. Thank you very much for being so patient for my German introduction. So, maybe let's start with a very basic question. What would you say, what is actually so important about your region? How does it matter? I start with you. Why do you think Southeast Asia is still underestimated by many international business? We say, especially here in Switzerland, what could be the reason?
I think that because China is a big market just next to our next to our geographical surroundings. So every time the European or the Swiss companies, they can see a big elephant like China, but they don't see other big actors or very active actors like Taiwan, like Philippines. So I think in many moments that we're some kind of getting ignored by the European companies. But it's a very pity, I should say that, because it's a very booming and promising market nowadays, especially with the new technology, etc. So I think it's the time to take the market seriously.
Talking about the Philippines, what do people outside of your region most often misunderstood?
Thanks, Hugo. Sorry, we won't be as entertaining as the last section of this
Well, but
program, I'm
we
sure.
still try to smile and laugh.
Well, I think at least for the Philippines and maybe ASEAN in general, for a lot of Europeans, a lot of those in the West, I think they see our region as more of a tourist destination.
Yeah.
You think of Indonesia, you think of Bali, you think of Thailand, Koh Samui, you think of Philippines, Boracay. So there is this, maybe there's this unfamiliarity. I think apart from, of course, China being one of the largest economies in the world, so we are not seen that way, but I think a big misconception is it's all tourist and leisure in our region, when in fact we do have more to offer.
So if you had to correct one stereotype about doing business in your country, in the Philippines, what would that be?
I think we are as modern as many of the countries that you deal with here in Europe. We have a big financial system as well. We have very high credit ratings in the Philippines. We have at least I know, over maybe 30 to 40 Swiss companies that are already in the Philippines. They've been 100 years in the Philippines. So there are companies that see that there is benefit to operating in the Philippines.
What would you say, Steve, what makes Taiwan a particularly attractive market today?
Yeah, actually, not only the semiconductor or the AI-related industries. Of course, I think it's where both it's a worldwide known industries that in Taiwan. But besides that, we have also a very digitalized society, and the consumers, they are quite quality demanding. And let me just give you one example, is that Taiwan actually is we got the highest purchasing power parity in that region, and even bigger than the PPP of Japan, South Korea. So compared to other markets, we have the highest purchasing power and per capita. And also, I can give you the recent example is that our stock market value, now the ranking number 7 in the world. So actually, everything is running, and our customer is very impatient to get what they want. Let give me some example is that we in Taiwan, if we have some health problems, we go to clinic, we go to hospitals without appointment in advance, and we can get a medical check right away, and not like the European countries, we need to book for 2 or 3 months before. So you can see the mentality, etc., is totally different. So if you want to sell your product, etc., so our consumer is very impatient to get what they want.
Oh, that's interesting to hear. So, talking about the Philippines, what would you say makes the Philippines especially promising for international partnerships?
Well, for one, we have a very young population. The median age in the Philippines is 26.
26?
26, very young.
Oh.
110 million population, so the local consumer market is very big. English is widely spoken. I would say, even if you ride a taxi, you go to a restaurant, everybody can speak English. I think this has been one of our advantages for international companies who'd like to go to the Philippines, is the ease of communication and the English language, which is widely spoken all over the country.
So what strengths of your market are not visible at first glance to outsiders?
I think really, again, as I said earlier, the biggest challenge we have in the Philippines is familiarity, especially with European countries. I think Europe, of course, largely trades with itself. A lot of your companies, maybe a lot of outsourcing is done in Eastern Europe, for example. Yeah. Of course, the US is a big partner, the UK. So I think that is something that is not really, one of the challenges we really have is trying to bridge that familiarity between European companies and the Philippines, that you can do business with us.
I mean, would that suit to you as well? Do you have the same kind of impression that, from a European perspective, we tend to obviously deal with our neighbors here or with the US so far, I have to say.
Yeah, I think let me give you one example. Take Taiwan as the first step or the first step to explore the the market of other regions is that in the 1980s or in the 1990 that the French distribution giant Carrefour has opened their first distribution market in or shop in Taiwan. And after the successful example or the successful experience in Taiwan, they expand their operations in China. So when you can take Taiwan as the like a testing market, and because it is a very highly transparent and highly regulated market there, and the consumer, they are quite demanding. So everything you can make Taiwan as a testing field. And if you can have a successful experience in Taiwan, you can have also the successful operations in other countries in that region. So I think, yeah, that's one example I can give you.
Yeah, let's talk about attractive sectors and business opportunities. Which industries in the Philippines are especially open for cooperation?
Right now, one of the biggest sectors in the Philippines is our information technology sector, our business process outsourcing, call centers, because this is again, it goes back to our command of the English language. We have a very young workforce, so a lot of times, for example, we can do 24-hour shifts, for example. We have a very young workforce, they work overnight. For example, in the US, it's 12 hours behind the Philippines. You give something to us in the morning of the US or at our night, and then by the time you wake up the next morning, it's all been processed by the Philippines. So IT BPM is one of our biggest sources of employment right now, and services exports. It employs over, I think, about 2 million Filipinos. So that is really one sector, and the barrier to entry is very low. Yeah. You just need some computers. You need an office space. It's not really, you don't really need to build a big factory, for example. So this is one of the industries that we have really been promoting for the last, I think, 20 years.
Which sectors currently offer the most realistic business opportunities in Taiwan?
I think besides the semiconductor industry, that nowadays for the food industry and the biotech, Medicare, and the green energy, of course. And all these are very, now we have some national plans to implement this domain as our pilot project for the next 2 decades. So I think in these 2 domains, you have not only the support from our government, but also the society in this transformative phase that we are quite like waiting for other international companies to share their know-how and their expertise.
So Taiwan is very well known about its advanced technology. So why is technology such a key field in Taiwan?
I think not, of course, the innovation spirit now, especially for the young generation, now it is quite rooted in our system. And so the force of the innovation and also the partnership and cooperation spirits, nowadays the teamwork spirit is very important for us. So not only I think for the global companies and European companies, if you go to Taiwan, you are not going to Taiwan to have a market there. I think the mindset should be that you are going there to find a partner, to collaborate, to co-innovate, and to co-develop your project together. And after that, I think there will be a win-win strategy, and that's why we welcome you all to have a try there.
It's also very well known that healthcare is a key, interesting field in the Philippines. What makes healthcare so relevant, so critical?
Well, for one, we do graduate a lot of doctors and nurses. I think I would say we have around 30,000 combined doctors, nurses, medical technicians that graduate from the Philippines every year. I think even if you go to many countries in the world, a lot of the nurses, doctors are Filipinos. They say we give this extra care as maybe it's part of our culture. So it is a very important sector to us. And also in the last few years, we've been promoting the Philippines as like a retirement capital for a lot of those who have retired, for example, from Japan, from the US. They go to the Philippines because we put up these facilities. It's like a big resort where you have medical care right there. And then, of course, obviously the cost of living in the Philippines is much lower. So it has become an attractive sector for a lot of retirees to go there and get the health care that they need especially in their retirement age.
So you're competing with Thailand then?
We're trying to. Very difficult, though.
Just quickly, let's go to agriculture. I mean, and food products. What role do they play? Not only now, but in considering future growth.
Well, with the Philippines, we're still, I think, largely an agricultural country, but we do have a lot of challenges. Where we are in the world, we have a lot of hurricanes, of typhoons, natural disasters. So it has been quite challenging, and I think for the Philippines, what we really need is modernizing our agriculture sector. I mean, taking the train from Geneva to here, you will see all the agricultural land around Switzerland, and even where I live, I see a lot of very high technology equipment, and I see that there is a lot of care, I think, here in Switzerland, particularly for the agricultural sector. So I think for the Philippines, that's one thing that I personally I would like to develop is really to increase our technology in producing food, more healthy food, and having it more available to our people.
So that's where Swiss companies could pop in, so to say.
I would think that is one good sector for Swiss companies in particular.
So what kinds of products are your markets generally open to? Talking from a Swiss perspective.
I think all kinds of products, but of course in some highly regulated market, for example, the finance, banking, insurance, etc. Since the compliance and the regulations are quite, I think, quite different from your country, so it will be a little bit more difficult. But besides that, these highly regulated sectors, all other sectors are very easy to have access and to sell your products and to find some good partners, the distributors, or you can find any suppliers later, so you can have a good. I think it's not that difficult to have a good business relationship with our Taiwanese partners.
I found that quite interesting when you were referring to this impatience of Taiwanese customers, because we tend to think that Asian people are patient, mindful, and so on. But still, talking about buyers in your country, what do they look first? Is it price? Is it quality, trust, innovation, long-term commitment?
Yeah, I think the price, of course, if your quality meets the price, there's no problem. And the service is very important, and especially the service after sale. Because we are very impatient that we want to have a dinner or want to buy a grocery in the middle of the night, or even 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, where we go out and then we get what we want. And it's impossible in Europe, but you can see we want, if the customer, we want something, we want it right now, right away. And so for the Taiwanese customers, it's very hard to wait for example, like Rolex, you need to wait 3 years. It's almost impossible. So we want to get it right away. And this is, I think, the major difference between the mindsets and our purchasing habits. It's totally different.
So what types of partnerships work best in the Philippines, in the Philippine market?
I think a lot of the entry points in the Philippines, it's always good to partner locally.
Yeah.
There are some sectors which are open 100% to foreign companies, but we always think it's a bit easier when you have a local company with local knowledge, for example, because especially now, a lot of the regulations tend to be a bit more complex, a lot of paperwork, a lot of coordination with other agencies. So it's always good to partner locally, I think. And for us, the government, we're always open, we're always ready to entertain any investor or any company that would like to do business in the Philippines. So I think that's always a good start, is approaching the government first, and
Yeah.
then I think partnering locally is also one good advantage.
So since you have been referring to regulations, let's stay there for a minute. What legal or regulatory aspects should companies understand before entering a Philippine market?
Well, I think our regulations, our laws are all transparent. They're all available online. I guess a little bit of the complication, because we also have local government units. I'm unsure how Switzerland is, but for example, there could be some local regulations in a certain city that are in addition to what you have to comply with when you are coming in on the federal level, for example. So I think that's where there's a bit of more complexity for foreign companies that would like to enter the Philippines. But then again, as I said earlier, as the government, we are able to assist from entry up to the time you want to establish something in the Philippines.
So what's the situation like in Taiwan?
Yeah, I think, of course, Taiwan's regulation is very transparent and predictable, but still, nowadays we are trying to build in the so-called non-red supply chain with other like-minded countries. The non-red supply chain means there's no China-made Chinese elements in any products. So if the European countries, they want to come to Taiwan and find some supplier or sell your product there, and if it touches the so-called the non-red supply chain, you should be careful, because nowadays we don't want any especially in some very sensitive areas, that we don't want these Chinese related products or elements inside. So I think maybe it is one thing the European countries should take note.
Some people here in the in the room may be asking, how could I, if I were interested in doing business in this region, how would I initiate business? So in Taiwan, how do successful businesses relationship usually begin?
Yeah, I think in most of the Asian countries, the relation and the trust is the is a fundament of any successful business. So how to build the trust between peoples and if you can build the trust first, then all the legal grounds, and you have a commitment with your partners. I think with these elements, you will have a successful operations there. And not only there, you can spread this kind of experience to other neighboring countries.
So Raymond, what opens doors faster? Networks, trade fairs, referrals, institutions, or direct outreach?
I think a lot of networking is very helpful. Trade fairs, the Philippines, we do try to participate in as many trade fairs as we can, especially in Germany, in Milan, in the UK, for example. But yes, I would think that networking is one of the easiest ways. And a lot of companies, for example, they first enter the Philippines, they sell a product first, for example, rather than manufacturing there, they will try and test the market and establish there. Or a lot, for example, within the region in ASEAN, we have built very complete supply chains, for example, between Malaysia, Thailand, the Philippines. Between the 11 ASEAN countries, 98% of tariffs are duty-free. So we manufacture one piece here, export it to Thailand, and then to Malaysia, and then a finished product is it's completed after. So a lot of it also is networking within the region, within countries, within companies that are already in other countries within ASEAN, and then we link up and we have this whole supply chain in the region.
Mhm. I mean, there on the one hand side, there are structural barriers, but there could also be cultural barriers. What about cultural barriers which Swiss entrepreneurs should be aware of?
I think the Philippines in particular is a very westernized country. We're very open. A lot of the Filipinos, I think 10% of our population live abroad, so we are very open to the Western type of culture. I think it's very easy for us to adjust. So I wouldn't say that there could be issues in terms of cultural differences, particularly for the Philippines at least.
Yeah. You were mentioning twice this impatience of Taiwanese customers. So as a Swiss company who would like to, get in touch and really have some cooperative business with Taiwanese, how important would patience be from the Swiss side in building businesses in your market?
The Swiss patient, Swiss business entrepreneurs, etc. I think the patience is that to starting the operation or the business in Taiwan, the first patience you need to pay is to establish the trust. So it might take weeks or it might take months. I don't know. It depends on your personal chemistry or your personal skill. I don't know, but it just takes some time. But generally, it will not take so long if you have a real, sincere commitment and the well-established project. I think that will be no problem. And because Taiwanese business community, they are quite used to deal with the global players. So the cultural barrier, etc., is not really a problem. But from our side, the Taiwanese customer, we are so impatient is that we cannot wait a product to be delivered in maybe, I would say, in 6 months. If we can get it right away, we get it right away. And that's also the key of success of the TSMC, because we are in this science park, and within this science park, there are like hundreds of suppliers and companies. They are supporting TSMC. So all the problem, any tiny problem can be fixed in real time. But this case cannot be replicate or be copied in other countries, especially, for example, in the US or in the European countries. For example, there's one tiny problem or one machine that broke out, and it happens in the middle of the night or the weekend. You cannot have any engineer to come to fix the problem in Europe or in the US. But in Taiwan, even it's 5 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, and after an earthquake or after a typhoon, the engineer just come right away. So I think this impatience and necessarily efficiency is the, of course, you can say sometimes it's inhuman. Okay, no, it's not very human, but let's our mindset to do business or to do our job.
So it's interesting, we are having one region here on the panel, but 2 markets, So when should a Swiss company look first at the Philippines and not at Taiwan?
I think Taiwan is a more high technology country. I think when we talk about semiconductors, they do the design, they do the manufacturing. Philippines does the assembly, the testing, for example. So we are trying to move up that chain, but I think Taiwan is higher. So in terms of, let's say, manufacturing, ours are the lower rung of manufacturing, and Taiwan goes to the higher one. So a lot of what we produce, for example, goes to Taiwan after, or they send it to us, and then we do the testing, we do the assembly, and then we export it. So I think at least I see it more as of a complementary kind of relationship than more of a competitive one.
Yeah, so I have to ask you the same question. So, well, it's obvious, it was mentioned, technology, high technology, when it comes to chips and so on. But on the other hand, what else would be very much interesting for a Swiss company to enter the Taiwanese market?
Yeah, I want to add that one point is that actually Taiwanese government is working very closely with the Philippine government. That we have like a project in building a Taiwan and Philippine economic corridor. So in that corridor, the high-tech industry, the new agriculture, and then even the new energy industry, etc. It's mainly focused on this Taipei Philippine economic corridor. So the ties, especially the business and economic ties between Taiwan and Philippines, is getting closer and closer. And now Taiwan is the eighth biggest investor in Philippines. So I think the trend will still go on, and we will the economic and commercial business, the relations, etc., will be become more and more close.
So where do you see other similarities between the Philippines and Taiwan?
I think Steve has said it all, though. I don't think I have anything else to add to that. But yes, I think the two countries were very close in proximity, and I think there is that complementary relationship where a lot of Taiwanese companies have actually located in the Philippines, and there is quite a complete supply chain already in the Philippines from Taiwanese companies in terms of producing flat screen TVs, semiconductors, even printers and all these things. So I think that's where we really are right now. And I think one more thing that I could mention is also in terms of processed food. I think Taiwan is very good at its processed foods, and it's something that we are also trying to upgrade in the Philippines. So I think that's also one sector that we are trying to really upgrade to be able to, of course, export to the European market, because right now we don't see many of our Filipino products sold here. A lot of it is because we still lack the technology, the packaging, and all these things. So that's maybe another sector where we can cooperate.
So let's get into the closing round. So what would you say, what is one business opportunity in your market that deserves far more international attention?
I think right now, renewable energy is one sector that we are really trying we're trying to move away from the more traditional sources of coal and all that. So we are really trying to upgrade our geothermal energy, solar, and wind. So I think Switzerland, Europe in particular, I think this is one sector that this region has very much is very much advanced. So this is one sector that we are also wanting to upgrade in the Philippines, to move away from these traditional sources of energy into the more renewable and green energy. So I think that's one thing that could be looked at.
So what would be one business opportunity in your market that deserves far more international attention?
Yeah, I think now actually we are trying to find those triangle cooperation relations with the European countries, for example, with the European innovation cooperate with Taiwanese technology, our capability of manufacturing and so on, and with this and plus the big market scale in the Philippines, that you have already a very interesting playground or business field in that region. And if you can success in this region, I'm sure that you can success in the neighboring country without doubt.
So if you could send one message to Swiss entrepreneurs and investors also, what would it be?
I think the investment is to find like-minded partners together, to work together, to build a long-term partnership with the Taiwanese counterparts. And at that time, I think with this win-win strategy, with the business and all the operations will last long, and will go become more prosperous. As it was. So I think have a long-term plan and a strategy of partnership with Taiwan is the most important.
What would be your message to Swiss entrepreneurs?
I think look at the Philippines. It's more than just ocean and good weather. There's really a lot of business opportunities in the Philippines. I think the region is a very bright spot right now. It's very peaceful. There's a lot of a very young population. So I'm selling the region, not just the Philippines. ASEAN in particular, I think we work very well in the region. The Philippines, as I said, we're very open to the Western culture, very easy to work with, very young, dynamic workforce. So please look at the Philippines more than just a destination for scuba diving or for going to the beach, but for a
But
business
don't leave it out.
opportunity.
Don't leave that out.
Don't leave it out, for sure. You can add an extra 2 days for the ocean.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much for these insights.
Thank you very much for having
Raymond
us.
Patak and Steve Wang. You're going to get some gifts from us as well. So, Swiss made. So, one is for you, Steve. Thank you so much.
I got another pizza.
Another pizza. And we still got another pizza. Now, there's some wine in here.
Thank you,
Do
Hugh.
you have wine in the Philippines?
Unfortunately not.
Okay.
But Swiss wine, I enjoy Swiss wine very much.
Thank you very
I
much.
understand you don't even export it because it's completely consumed in Switzerland. So as I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, but Swiss wine is not exported.
There will be enough time to have some answers to that question later on.
Thank you.
So, thank you very much.